Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday Meditation, the Joy of Sitting Hour. It is wonderful to see you all coming into this space. And for those of you that have been here before, you know that at this present time, I don't allow anyone into the video with me. However, if you do want to share time with a one-to-one conference, please come to my website, which is Art of Connection Now as one word. That's artofconnectionnow.com. And if you can go to my calendar there, we can schedule a time we can chat. In any event, I am very happy that you've decided to come and be with us this evening. And I'm waving back to Willis Rodas, wonderful to see her tonight. And Chokubara_Jawa, thank you for being here from the Gambia. And the Halpern Project, thank you for being here. Wonderful to see you all tonight. And let's see here. So tonight I am recording this through our Zoom space. And for those of you that would ever like to join me in the Zoom space, it's not too much of a hassle. Just come to my website and register, and you'll be given the Zoom information you need in order to be in the Zoom space. And, there are certain rules, as you can imagine, when you teach a class. There's certain stuff that, that goes with that in terms of cross-talking and interaction, what have you. However, if you would, please, in the comment area, maybe give me an emoji of some type, maybe a thumbs up, maybe a heart, whatever you want, just to indicate that the volume is good, that you're able to hear, and all the rest of that. And if you have specific needs tonight, certain areas you'd like for us to include in the meeting, please write in the comment area and I will mention them. And one of the things I want to be really straight about is that these specific meetings that I do is not for the purpose of fundraising. This is a free offering. I do this because I love to do it for whoever shows up. And everyone's welcome, except if they're going to be unruly. And then, of course, I can't, it's difficult enough to have a class when there's too much of all of that. Nevertheless, let's take a look at what the plan is for tonight. And also what I want you to know, for those of you that don't know me very well, is that I have several free offerings that I give every week, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time, from about 8 to 8:15 a.m. is our magnificent morning meditation. And on Monday night, like tonight, is our Monday meditation, the Joy of Sitting Hour. And Tuesday night, we also have a 1-hour segment that's called Art of Connection Community. And the community meeting, it's an open community wherever two or more are gathered. And so you're all welcome to be there. There's no charge for that. The only services that I charge for is if someone wants to do real deep inner work. I really love the inner work, and I do charge for that. So if any of you are ever interested in that, please send me a message and we'll have further conversations about that. And I don't want to spend a lot of time in these meetings doing advertisements. So let's transition back to the purpose of the meeting, which is for meditation. And also part of this meeting is to talk about mindfulness practice. Now, what I've started to do recently in all of these different free offerings is to create a theme for the week. The theme for this week is spaciousness, and I'll go into that a little bit. I just want to let you know what the program is for tonight before we launch Full Tilt Boogie into it. And in a wave back to Gorheiming. Thank you for being here tonight. So after we talk about spaciousness and the theme of the week in that regard, we will do our spaciousness meditation. Now, in order to give a 1 hour class that wraps its arms around so much, that we really pack these 1 hour segments with a lot of information, a lot of experience, the meditation component is valuable in my perception, but it's not a very long meditation. Sometimes very short meditations can go very deep. Sometimes long meditations can be very shallow. So see what you get. So our opening meditation is the spaciousness meditation, which is inspired by the ancient Shikantaza meditation from the Soto Zen tradition. After that, we're going to talk about stress and stressors. And then we're going to do our body-centered mindfulness practice, which is very integrative. It helps us to heal the mind-body split, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. Following that, we will look at processing emotions and the value of processing emotions. And following that, we will do our third and last meditation of the evening, I call processing unpleasant emotions meditation. Now, and that's very inspired by the Tonglen meditation from the Lojong tradition of Tibetan Buddhism. And then we'll take a look at what we did tonight, and then following that, we'll close with an adaptation of the Beauty Way prayer. Now, one of the things I have done with these teachings, especially for a more Western climate culture, is to really work with how things get languaged, how we do them, so that you feel at home in whatever we do. And the truth is, I'm not quite sure where all of you are from, although I do know that Chekubara _ Jawa is down in the Gambia, and I hope you and your loved ones are doing well there. So let's go ahead and jump into our evening program and see where we go. So the theme of the week is spaciousness. Now, when we talk about spaciousness, especially if we look at it through the lens of the teachings of loving kindness, the daily practice of loving kindness, it has a very specific meaning. It isn't like how you decorate your outer rooms or your car or different things. It's more how you see the world, spaciousness. So when we take a look at spaciousness, what we're looking at here is how much space do you have for anyone and anything to be what they are. We often have particular hopes that things will be a certain way. Maybe we were told they were going to be a certain way. But when we arrive, we find out it's not what we thought it was going to be. And there can be disappointment and a lot of, jagged emotions. But the teachings of spaciousness that are part of the ancient Lojong tradition, or the daily practice of loving kindness, starts with having space for you to be you. A good place to start. It always starts with how you speak with yourself and how you treat yourself. Because when your emotions and thoughts get really going in an unpleasant manner, the person that harms the most is you. And yet at the other side, how much space do you have for certain thought patterns, certain emotional patterns, especially when they begin to ramp up? Now, if you take a look at the ramping up of all of that, who's doing that? And so there are habits, certain cultures, certain things that in our lives that we've seen, whether we've seen it on a video, we've been to the movie, we read it in a book, we maybe saw it in our families or in our communities, certain behaviors, and that became our normal. Now, Emotionally, in order to feel that things are balanced, our psychology, our sense of self, we keep things on that wavelength because that's where we feel at home, even though it may be unpleasant. And so, as we live our life, we might want something more than that, to have less havoc in our life, to have more serenity in our life, to have more space for not just all of these thoughts and all of our emotions, but just as at the core, just to be who we are at our very core. And so the process of developing loving kindness, the practice of loving kindness, it's a journey as we find out that we could live, that we're not going to die if we don't get in an argument, that everyone has a right to their feelings and their thoughts. Their behaviors are a whole other matter, especially if they're harmful. What are the tolerances inside of you for yourself and for others? So this piece regarding spaciousness, having space for yourself to be you. And so the value of meditation that goes with that is we start to experience deeper and deeper parts of ourselves, more and more happiness and inner peace and joy and even self-love. So as that begins to emerge in our experience, because we're not doing something to stop that, to stifle that, then we soften into it. And so as we do that, little by little, we have more space for ourselves. When things are unpleasant and there's a lot of energy and movement of thoughts, of unpleasant conversations, unpleasant emotions, and unpleasant physical gestures and what have you, how much space do we have for that? So the more peaceful our life is, the easier it is to have space. And spaciousness for you to be you. You're always free to have your thoughts. You're always free to have your feelings. How we act on them may make a huge difference. And similarly for other people, they're entitled to their thoughts, their feelings. And do you have space for others to see the world as they do that may be very different than you? It may be unpleasant to watch their process. And who is the person that has to live with that the most? Well, they do. And so the more and more you create spaciousness, this climate inside of having space for yourself, for your thoughts, for your emotions, for your being, just to be, then it isn't exactly throwing a wet blanket on everyone else, but in that space with you not reacting to what others are doing, unless it's life-threatening, of course. But so much of our lives are not necessarily life-threatening, or hopefully it's not. I know in some places like the Gambia, where there are massive needs even for basics for life, like food, clothing, and shelter, it takes it to a whole different level. It's much more difficult to find inner peace and spaciousness. But where we start to build is, can I have space with the way that it is right now while I desire to improve it? So it gives us really a building block, a place, a foundation to build our sense of serenity. Even though you might not like what's here right now, can you open your mind and heart to some fundamental truth that this is simply the way it is right now? And maybe you don't know what to do about it right now. And so that becomes part of your contemplation, although we're not doing work with contemplation tonight. What can I do about this? And maybe the answer for now is, I don't know what to do with it right now. Can you have space for that? And you just open your mind, open your heart. I don't know what to do about it right now. That's not the greatest answer, I know, but that may be the truth that you have. And rather than making things worse, is it better just to be with what's here while you figure out what would be better for yourself, for your loved ones, for your community, for all of that? And who knows? One thing that in general that is helpful regarding spaciousness is to make an effort not to make things worse. And I know sometimes we have to make things worse in order to be able to make them better. So there's all of that that we look at, we consider. If we are reactivated and we have to have an answer right now, what happens? Does it improve something? Or does it not improve? Does it get worse? So life is quite a teacher, isn't it? Things either get better or worse, and very little stays the same. So the theme of the week is spaciousness, and at the core of it is this question I offer out to you. Do you have space for yourself, for you to be just who you are and just where you are for now? And I'm asking you to open your mind and your heart just to that part. That's this one step of spaciousness, our basic foundation. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do our opening meditation, which is our spaciousness meditation. And I just need to check the volume over here to make sure that everything's hunky-dory. Okay, I believe that's good. And if you have more comments as we go further in the evening, please write them in the comment area. So the meditations that are a part of these 1 hour meetings are roughly about 6 to 7 minutes long. So if you can find a relative comfortable way of sitting, safe and comfortable way of sitting, perhaps, and it's always a good idea, just to reposition your body on the surface that your body's resting, and very slowly and gently allowing your eyelids to drift downward until they do close. And taking a slow and gentle deep breath in, and slowly and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to your experience of breathing. And notice if your breath is shallow or if it's deep. And this form of breathing that goes with these meditations tonight, it's called diaphragmatic breathing. It is a type of deep breathing without hyperventilating, by allowing the natural rhythmic movement of your breath and allowing your awareness to experience the way that your shoulders, chest, and belly wall expand on your inhalations and release on your exhalations. And as you continue to be aware of your breath and breathing and the movement of your body that accommodates your breath, also noticing, allowing yourself to experience your awareness of the warmth and coolness of your breath. In addition to the warmth and coolness of your breath and your awareness of the way that your body movement accommodates your breath and breathing, as your shoulders, chest, and belly wall Expand on your inhalations and release on your exhalations. Also, notice your awareness of the moist and dryness of your breath. Your in-breaths may seem cooler and drier, and your out-breaths may seem more moist and warmer. And noticing how much your awareness, how much sense information your awareness gives you about your breath and breathing, and also allowing your awareness to give you information regarding the beating of your heart and your pulse that travels throughout your being. Continuing to be aware of the way that your shoulders, chest, and belly wall expand on your inhalations, release on your exhalations, and these other qualities of breath, warmth and coolness, moist and dryness, the beating of your heart and your pulse, and also noticing the thoughts that are in your mind. And it's okay for the thoughts to be there. This is not to squelch your thoughts. And notice as you're aware of your thoughts and the space that your thoughts occupy, how that directs your focus in a way. Continuing to be aware of your breath and breathing, the beating of your heart and your pulse, and begin to become aware of the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within. And noticing this sense of calm, this calmness within this space where your thoughts and emotions arise. Continuing to be aware of your breath and breathing, the way that your body movement accommodates all of that, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this calm that's right here. Softening into your calm while continuing to be aware of your breath and breathing, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this calm, and allowing this calm to saturate your being. Softening into your calm while continuing to be aware of your breath and breathing, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this calm that's all pervasive. Softening that much more deeply into the calm while continuing to be aware of your breath and breathing, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this calm that's always right here. And taking another moment to unhook and float and drift within this calmness that's in the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and how vast your awareness is to be able to give you information about your breath, the beating of your heart and your pulse, the space that your thoughts and emotions arise within, and this calm as you settle into this calm. And taking another slow and gentle deep breath in, and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Slowly beginning to move your fingers and your toes, gently stretching your hands and your feet, slowly moving your wrists and your ankles, gently shrugging your shoulders and stretching your back and your neck and your arms and your legs. And when you're ready, slowly let your eyes come back open and notice if the room and space around you seems a little different than before. And if you feel a little different than you did, if there is a difference and you're enjoying this difference or curious about it, please soften into it and recognize that this is a gift that you've given to yourself. And just taking a moment to wave back to Lex_Oakland all day 510. Great to see you, Lexi. It's been such a long time. I'm so glad that you're here. So if you have any comments about our meditation or what we're doing thus far, please write them in the comment area. And let's talk a little bit about stress and stressors and a little bit about this body-centered mindfulness practice that we're about to do. There are so many stressors in our life, whether it's the vehicles that we operate or we ride in, whether it's rapid transit, the BART situation in the Bay Area, or motorcycles, automobiles, trucks, whatever it is for you. The condition of the roads, the price of fuel, all these various conditions wherever we are in the world with politics and finances and food supply and all of these different factors that can be worrisome. Even creating a shopping list, and is there enough resources to pay for that this week? All of the various different factors, whether it's from the food bank or whether it's from the grocery store, and will it be enough to keep us alive? All of these different factors, stress and stressors. So this method that we're about to do, when I was first taught it, I wasn't given a name for it. But I was told is that this was a method of helping with stress that came down from the Buddha, that the Buddha, historical Buddha, taught this to his followers. And also in the way that I was taught, the Buddha never said that he was a god. He always said that he was a human being that had an extraordinary experience that he thought could help many people. So here we are still benefiting from one person who was curious about suffering and whether or not we have to suffer. Is that what a human lifetime is? Is it just suffering? So this method that we're about to use, I named it, at least for my work, and I like to name things for what they are. This is a body-centering mindfulness practice. In other words, in a moment, we're going to do this practice, this sense of feeling, and where we identify the places within where we experience stress and tension and pain and discomfort, all of that. And we're going to go through a process of releasing that to the extent that we're able. And then piggyback on that, and I like to piggyback this other meditation on the release of all of this stress, we will do a heart-centering mindfulness practice because of the gift that it has for us. So let's see, I'm going to take another moment here to wave back to someone that just came into this space. And I'm waving back to Junor 9257. Wonderful to see you here tonight. I don't know if you've been in this space before, but it's wonderful that you're here. And if you have comments or concerns that go with meditation and mindfulness practice, please write in the comment area. And hopefully the volume is adequate so you can hear all of this. That's always my hope, that others can hear the content of this. So please, once again, very gently, repositioning your body on the surface that your body's resting, and very gently allowing your eyelids to drift downward until they do close. And taking a slow and gentle deep breath in and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Beginning to scan or feel from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content where your stress, tension, pain, and discomforts reside, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, and or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small. No matter whether they're caused by rapid growth with its joys and challenges, or with other types of problems like challenges like anxiety, worries, concerns, financial issues, political issues, food source issues, whatever it is for you, whether it's loneliness, whatever it is, or combination, whatever it is. And sometimes we grab our thoughts, we grab our emotions, and sometimes we feel seized up into them. Letting your love work for you and through you by giving these locations and content a very warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting embrace. And tightening your embrace just a little bit more in order to give these locations and content a very full-hearted, open-hearted, warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting embrace. And softening your embrace and releasing. Gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release. And allowing this feeling of release to flow throughout your entire being. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release. Scanning once again from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content of your stress, tension, pain, and discomforts of any kind, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, and or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small. And this time giving these locations and content the gentlest of warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting embraces. And softening and releasing. Gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release. And allowing this feeling of release to flow throughout your entire being. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release. Scanning one more time from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, looking for the locations and content of your stress, tension, pain, and discomforts of any kind, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, and or spiritual, or any combinations thereof, no matter how large or how small, whatever the sources of them may be. And this time, just the gentlest of touches, whisper soft, barely touching the fringes of these locations and content with a warm, tender, nurturing, caring, loving, inclusive, and connecting contact. Barely touching. And softening and releasing. Gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to this feeling of release. And allowing this feeling of release to flow throughout your entire being. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release. And softening into this experience of release. And allowing all of your senses to register this experience of release. And very gently bringing the very center of the focus of your attention to the dull ache in your heart, the doorway in. And you know this dull ache in your heart from many experiences throughout your life. And some of the experiences may be pleasant, and some of them, like the loss of a loved one, may be very uncomfortable. Leaning backward into the dull ache in your heart, leaning backward into the doorway into your heart, and moving back more and more and more until you somewhat plop inside your own heart. And allowing all of your senses to register the feeling of being on the inside of your heart, the experience of being on the inside of your heart. It may seem more quiet, it may seem more peaceful. Notice how it is for you to feel what it's like to be on the inside of your heart. And beginning to notice the space within your heart that your love always arises from. Whether your love is for a person, a place, a thing, a two-legged, a four-legged, a no-legged, whether your love is for someone on this plane of existence or any other. Your love always arises from this place. And allowing all of your senses to register this pure love that flows throughout your entire being. Allowing all of your senses to register this pure love that lives within you as it flows throughout your entire being. And softening into your pure love and allowing your pure love to saturate your being. Perhaps beginning to notice some of the essences of your love that live within your love, like different notes in a melody. The part of your love that's caring, and the part that's kindness, and the part of your love that's compassion, and the part of your love that is this incredible vibration of connection. And you know what it's like to want to connect and to be able to connect with a person, a place, a thing, a two-legged, a four-legged, a no-legged, whether it's for someone on this plane of existence or any other. Your connection, your ability to connect, this vibration of connection that lives within you. And you also know what it's like when you want to connect and it simply isn't possible this time. And allowing your heart's energy of connection to flow through you and around you. And allowing all of your senses to register this pure connection that lives within you. And softening into your pure connection and allowing it to saturate your being. And notice how fulfilling it is to experience your pure connection. And taking just another moment to float and drift within this magnificent experience of pure connection. And taking another slow and gentle deep breath in, and slowly and gently releasing this breath and allowing your breath to find its own natural rhythm once again, free of control. Slowly beginning to move your fingers and your toes, gently stretching your hands and your feet, slowly moving your wrists and your ankles, gently shrugging your shoulders and stretching your back and your neck and your arms and your legs. And when you're ready, slowly let your eyes come back open and notice if the room and space around you seems a little different than before, and if you feel a little different than you did. If there is a difference and you're enjoying this difference or curious about it, please soften into it and recognize that this is a gift that you've given to yourself. And I'm waving back to the hype.blog. Thank you for being here. And AA Cast for Therapy. Thank you for being here. And parenting_in_recovery. Always awesome to see you here. I really appreciate all of you. It means so much to see you here in our meetings like this. And let's go ahead and see what's next, okay? So next we're going to talk a little bit about processing unpleasant emotions. So I know that, who in their right mind wants to feel unpleasant emotions, right? But when we take a look at it, if we're going to own our emotional anatomy, whose emotional anatomy is it? We have all these sensitivities, that's your birthright. And when you feel all of the hues and colors of emotions, whose fault is it? And so as we learn to relate with our emotional anatomy, our feelings, and learn how to process them, life gets easier. We develop more spaciousness. And as we process our emotions, that's called generosity, because that's a gift that only you can give to you. So as we do this tonight, and this is inspired by the ancient Tonglen meditation from Tibetan Buddhism. I'm not trying to convert you to any other faith than whatever you worship today. And maybe you don't have anything to worship. And whatever is right for you. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to walk beside you and enjoy these teachings together. So when we have unpleasant feelings, if we can process them and not stuff them and at least tell ourselves the truth that I felt that. That didn't feel so good. Maybe that hurt. I'm laughing about it because when I tell myself the truth about it, I call myself out sometimes. This isn't about any better than. This is about the human condition and human experience. So in this regard, it's always important to pick the most unpleasant emotion of today or past few days. Maybe there was a big spike, maybe one of your family members, maybe one of your critters, whatever it is for you that really is the most unpleasant for you today. That's where we start. Because that way you know that if we work on it and you feel better about it, it won't necessarily change what happened, but it might change how you feel about it. And that way you know that it helped. And it didn't make matters worse, but it helped you because you were able to find some spaciousness, some stability in the storms of the heart. So once again, please just reposition your body on the surface that your body's resting, and remember this most unpleasant emotion of your day, and very slowly and gently allowing your eyelids to drift downward until they do close. And on the next in-breath, breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for yourself and this human experience. Continuing to breathe, leaving your eyelids closed, and considering if we had some magical device that would help us to measure all of the qualities and distinctions of human emotion of everyone on this plane of existence in this moment. Even though their circumstances could be very different than yours, how many of them would measure so close to your measurement as to be indistinguishable? One other person, maybe 10 other people, perhaps hundreds or thousands or even millions of people feeling just like you and just like me. And on the next in-breath, breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them and yourself and this human experience. Breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them and yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself and this human experience. Breathing in your most unpleasant emotion into every pore and cell of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself and this human experience. Breathing out love, kindness, compassion, caring, and connection through every cell and pore of your being as a gift of generosity and spaciousness for all of them in yourself and this human experience. Continuing to breathe, leaving your eyelids closed and evaluating. Do you feel any more compassionate for yourself and this human experience? Do you feel any more compassionate for others who, like you, had these feelings and their human experience? When you're ready, slowly and gently allowing your eyelids to come back open, and notice if the room and space around you seems a little different than before, and if you feel a little different than you did. If there is a difference and you're enjoying this difference or curious about it, please soften into it and recognize that this is a gift that you've given to yourself. And I'm just taking this moment right now to wave back to pretty_quotes_. Thank you for being here. Always wonderful to welcome you all into this space with me. Thank you for being here tonight. And I hope also to see you tomorrow night, perhaps, if it works for you. Let's take a look at what we did tonight. We started off with the theme of the week, which is spaciousness, with an understanding that what we're talking about for today is having space in your mind and heart for you to be who you are, with the thoughts you have, with the feelings that you have, for you to be right where you are in this precious gift that life is, just the way it is. Spaciousness for this moment. Then we did our spaciousness meditation that is inspired by the Soto Zen meditation called Shikantaza, which means just sitting. And afterward, we talked about stress and stressors, and then we also talked about the body-centered mindfulness practice. And then we did that, and we piggybacked on that, the heart-centering meditation, which gave us this incredible gift of a meaningful sense of connection with ourselves. Following that, we talked about processing emotions and the gift in that, rather than stuffing our feelings or disowning our feelings and that kind of emotional fragmentation. We talked about healing the mind-body split earlier with the body-centered mindfulness practice, and in this particular meditation, processing unpleasant emotions, we started off with these emotions that were unpleasant, and we ended up with a sense of compassion for ourselves and our human experience. So notice where you came, your journey with that. No one did that for you. You did that for yourself. And that brought us to this part of the evening. And we're about to close our evening for tonight. And if any of you have any comments or concerns about what we said or additional taglines, let's see here. Trying to change the virtual background in the Zoom space. So there we go. Okay. Sorry for my distraction there. What we're about to do is bring closure for tonight. And it's been a great joy to be here with you. Thank you for being here. And if any of you are interested in talking with me further, please reach out to me. It would be wonderful to interact with you. And what we're going to do in closing is we close with an adaptation of the Beauty Way prayer from the Native American Church. Now, part of what's sacred in the Native American Church is the directions. And the way that we initially experience the directions is we know where the sun rises and we know where the sun sets. That gives us east and west. Now, the only place that gets challenging is at the North and South Pole. But everywhere else, we know the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and that's true of the moon as well. So when we look at the directions, the saying that goes with that is, if you know what the directions are, you know where you stand. There's a deeper message in that, though, which has to do with your direction in life. Where did you come from? Where are you going? Where do you want your life path to go? And if you had choice in the matter, even one step at a time choice in the matter, where do you stand in your heart? So whatever your direction is in this lifetime, whether you feel that you're on a mission, whether you feel however you feel, without putting a lot of words on it, you know how you feel. What's your direction? So the words that are used in this prayer that we're about to close with is the word beauty. And this beauty that we're talking about here is the awe and wonder that the natural environment may be. So even in the Gambia, there may be waterfalls that are so incredibly beautiful. Or here in the States, in California, there may be great oceans or a sunrise, a sunset, and then also, depending on where we are, if we're away from the cities, what we see in the night sky is the Milky Way, which is one of the most beautiful things for me, is the Milky Way. And part of it is this understanding that the Milky Way is so massive, its size, it transcends our understanding. And also its longevity is so large, again, that it transcends our understanding. And yet, with all of its magnitude, it isn't to diminish you or me. It's to help us remember we're a part of this. We're a part of this beauty. So as we do this prayer, that's where we're going. Now, as I give directions, front, back, left, right, all of that, see if you can expand your awareness to include those directions. Maybe, consider the Milky Way, how vast it is. So here we go. Beauty that is in front of us. And beauty that is behind us. And beauty that is to the left of us. And beauty that is to the right of us. And beauty that is underneath us. And beauty that is above us. And beauty that is all around us. And it is essential to remember the beauty that is within us. Dear friends, there's a word spoken in the language that the Navajo people speak that means walk in beauty. Now I know I can just say walk in beauty, but something about speaking in a foreign language, it seems like it makes it deeper, makes our experience deeper. This word is the word Ojonahaslang. Ojonahaslang, Ojonahaslang, Ojonahaslang. Dear friends, walk in beauty. And please remember that you bring the beauty with you wherever you go. Walk in beauty. Namaste. Good show. Thank you for being here tonight. Walk in beauty.